From the SNC World Headquarters in New York, I'm Haley Bianco, and here are the stories we're following at this hour. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump remain locked in a dead heat. A new poll by the New York Times shows the nominees tied nationally. Benji Heyer has more.
48% to 48%. This race is simply too close to call. Both Harris and Trump are struggling to edge a lead in the overall popular vote. This election will likely come down to the tightest of results in just a handful of states. It's there where campaigning continues today and into the weekend to try to convince those still undecided about which way they'll swing. Millions of Americans have already submitted their ballots before polls close on November 5th. In Washington, Benji Heyer for Salem News Channel.
Donald Trump told Salem News Channel host Hugh Hewitt that China's leader Xi Jinping would handle Vice President Kamala Harris like a baby if she's elected to the White House.
He'd take all the candy away very quickly. He wouldn't have any idea what happened. It would be like a grand chess master playing a beginner.
Yesterday, Trump held a rally in Arizona where he criticized Harris's handling of immigration. President Joe Biden is paying a long-promised visit to a Native American reservation in Arizona that Democrats hope can provide a boost to Vice President Kamala Harris's turnout effort in the key battleground state. Biden won Arizona by just 10,000 votes in 2020. During today's visit, Biden is formally apologizing to Native Americans for the U.S. government's role in the abuse and neglect of Native children sent to federal boarding schools to assimilate them into white society. Kamala Harris is teaming up with Beyonce for a rally in Texas. It's aimed at highlighting the medical fallout from the state's strict abortion ban and putting the blame on Donald Trump. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in London for talks on the conflicts in Gaza and Lebanon. Ollie Barrett has more from London.
Speaking at his talks with Lebanon's Prime Minister here in London, Antony Blinken said that there is an urgency to get to a diplomatic resolution in the Lebanon conflict. Now, in Qatar previously on this trip, Antony Blinken said that the US wants to avoid what he called a protracted military campaign in Lebanon, but also said that Israel is working to remove the threat of Hezbollah there. Now, Antony Blinken's also meeting counterparts from the UAE and Jordan. While here in London, the State Department says that they are key partners for the United States in working on a post-war plan for Gaza.
Russian President Vladimir Putin wrapped this week's BRICS summit in Russia by praising the group's role as a counterbalance to what he called the West's perverse methods. A little more than 600 miles away, Moscow's war raged on, and Ukraine called the summit a failure. Megumi Lim has more from Kyiv.
President Putin on the final day of the summit accused the West of hindering the growth of the global South by using what he called perverse methods like, quote, sanctions, blatant protectionism, manipulation of currency and stock markets, and relentless foreign influence ostensibly promoting democracy, human rights, and the climate change agenda. He said these methods led to new conflicts and aggravated old agreements.
It turns out Pepperidge Farm thinks it's time for Finn the Goldfish to grow up. We're talking about the fish-shaped cracker brand Goldfish, which is now called Chilean Sea Bass, and it's not an April Fool's joke. The snack that smiles back was introduced in 1997 along with its smiling goldfish mascot Finn, with the goal of appealing to kids. But the Campbell Soup Company, which owns Goldfish, says the crackers aren't just for kids anymore. In an effort to appeal to adults, the brand has temporarily changed its name. The company says the Chilean Sea Bass crackers are the same cheddar snacks everyone knows and loves, just updated with a new name for a limited time. Fans can purchase bags of Chilean Sea Bass online until October 30th on ChileanSeaBassCrackers.com, while customers can continue buying traditional goldfish at most retailers. We've seen this temporary name change happen before with other brands. Remember back in 2018 when IHOP rebranded to IHOB? It was a play to get everyone talking about the chain and more customers in the door. And that's what you need to know at this hour. In New York, I'm Haley Bianco, Salem News Channel.